Well, hello guys, welcome back. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the memory map. And basically it's so that we can map all the memory that's, basically attached to the computer. Or in our case, the virtual machine. So in the virtual machine we have 256 megs of RAM. And yeah, if you want to see the source code, you just go here. It's tutorial 15. All right. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we're going to open up both of these, tutorial 15 on that, as far as the source code is concerned. Now, first things to do, first we had to get information about, in text, as to what we're trying to do, as far as what part of memory we're poking at, so that we're looking at. So this is kind of letting us know in a sense. So what we do is we clear the screen after the message and we go, hey, this is a memory map, and we set up from the memory descriptor, and we pre-set up all of this here. The memory descriptor, well, before I get to that, this is the memory type, all right? And memory map size here, and the type, there it is. So the EFI loader data. Okay. So the EFI loader data is this one right here. Okay. That's in the EFI memory type. All right. So now that we have that, and what we're doing is we're allocating. This is 64-bit. All three of those are 64-bit. This is 32. And of course, that's our struct. And the EFI memory descriptor is here. And in this, we have physical and virtual starting address, okay? And that is actually assigned here as 64-bit, okay, unsigned ins. All right. So scrolling back down, and I think I passed it. Yeah, there's our descriptor. And you can look this up on page 170 of the UEFI specs. That actually belongs there. All right, so scrolling down, because this is a EFI boot service, all right, and what we're looking for, scrolling back up a little bit, is this, all right, and this is it, the whole shebang right there. Okay, so we have the memory map size, we've got the descriptor, we've got the map key, the descriptor size, and the description version. Well, we preset all that up right there. So the first thing we do is we're getting the memory map and filling in this information. The first time you call this, all you're doing is filling the information in. Then it's going to error out. If we were to do a status, it would actually say unallocated buffer or something like that. So what we do is we preset this up again, because this has already been initialized with this and that, all right? So we're taking the information that got filled in, and we're multiplying it by 2, and then adding it to wherever this is. So if we have a 0, then it's going to add this information to that, wherever it's at in memory. Okay, then we allocate, taking this information, all right, we allocate the memory that we need, saying this is EFI loader data, which we saw in this earlier, and we're saying, okay, we want you to fill in the memory map based off of whatever size this comes out to be. So we allocate the data for that, take the pointer of this, and we use it and try to get the memory map again for the second time. And this time, though, it's filled in. The memory is filled in with the data that we need at this point. So we still have the descriptor size, the descriptor version. We have the map key. Now we have the newly updated memory map and, of course, the size of everything here. So we go, okay, well, we want to divide the memory map by the descriptor size. All right. And by the way, to look up this, there it is. So scrolling up, it's right here, the descriptor size, right There it is. The descriptor size. A pointer to the location in which firmware returns the size in bytes of an individual EFI memory descriptor. Okay? And this is on page 169, by the way. And so this is what we're dealing with. All right. So we take this, we have the total amount of the map entries. This is how many map entries are inside, how many pointers to different sections of the RAM that in our case, in this, the 256 megs that we've allocated from VirtualBox is sectioned out by VirtualBox and the EFI in general. Minimize that. And so this points to all the entries that splits up that memory. Then we take the map entries, assign whatever the number is, we divide it by 2, assign it there, plus adding 1, because remember 0 counts. So we have to get the total number, we have to add a 1. We take the total RAM, zeroing it out by creating a new variable, and we iterate through it by looping through it. As this iterates through this, we get a description back of each and every single one of them. Then, once we're done with this, we take the position of the map entries and we basically fill in more information, and then we call it quits. We get the total system RAM, and we display that in kilobytes, and then we quit. Now, what is this here? Why do we even have this, okay, versus this? So this first one just gives us a description of what we're trying to do, and basically that's where the EFI memory strings will come in. Why I did this twice is because we're going to display 2 rows. So to give you a better picture of this, of what we're trying to do, how about we minimize this first? We're going to go ahead and close that. We're going to go ahead and compile this and actually mount and run it. Wait for it. Done. And come on. There you go. So now we can actually run this so that you can physically see what I'm talking about. So we hit a key, and there's our 2 columns. We have the first column here, and we've got a second column here. So I'm going to move this to the side and open that back up. And this is why I've set this up. The first one displays all of this information here. And if you'll notice, we have the name. So scrolling back up, here's where it pulls the string name. All right. So that's where the descriptor type comes from the memory string. The descriptor type is this. All right. Then we change the color to give an integer of how much RAM that we're actually taking up from this particular pointer in the memory map. Then we divide that number and make sure that we have the correct number here. And then we say, okay, well, we're doing this in kilobytes. So there you go. So it splits them all up as we go through. We have conventional memory, we have the ACPI, we have loader data, we have the boot services data. I mean, and it breaks it down. Okay, so the second column is just this. That's why I had to put a position 2 in here, so that we can set the text position when it goes to loop through it. The first one doesn't have that. The second one does. Then once all of this is done, then we take whatever our total number is. And in this case, we're saying the total RAM. So if you'll notice that on both of these, I started out as 0, and we increment conversion, number of pages, taking it from here, and we take the numbers and we add it all together and we get our total amount, which is here, 265, which when you take this number and convert it, it's 256. Okay? Yeah, so that's practically it. This is the whole tutorial in a nutshell. We are grabbing a memory map so that we understand what we have here. And this is also how we know how much in RAM that we actually have on the machine too. So that comes in handy. All right, so yeah, just hit R to reboot and it brings it right back. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and see you next video.